The ruling of a ma'zur. So the fuqaha say that a person is considered excused when this passing of impurity continues for one entire salah period, time period. Or for one entire salah time period. If a person is just experiencing it for 15 minutes, and he's like, oh no, it's not stopping, I'm just going to pray salah anyway, and it stops. That's not considered a ma'zur. But to be considered a ma'zur, that behavior or that practice or that passing of that impurity has to continue for one entire salah time period where he can't even find sufficient time to make a full wudu and pray the salah. How long does that take generally? 10 minutes? 10 minutes? Let's say he prays with khushu', right? 10 minutes. Okay, wudu will take 2 minutes and salah will take another like 5 to 7 minutes, right? A person can't even find that much time without the pause in impurity. If a person can't even find that much time, he would be considered ma'zur by the fuqaha. Okay? Now the ruling for the ma'zur is that he will make a fresh wudu for every salah time. Not for every salah, but for every salah time. So when dhuhr time begins, he will make a fresh wudu. And that wudu will be sufficient till asr time. And any number of salah he wants to perform, he can perform unless he nullifies his wudu by any other means. You get it? Not by the problem that he's in. Let's say for example his problem is nosebleed. He just can't, he continuously bleeds. He can't even find the space of 7 or 8 minutes, 10 minutes where he can make wudu and pray. So he makes wudu for every fresh salah time. Okay? During that salah time, the continuous nosebleed will not break his wudu because he's excused in that case. But any other reason he breaks his wudu, like he goes to urinate or he passes wind or something else, that will nullify the wudu. Okay? And he could pray as many number of rakats as he wants with that wudu when he makes wudu for every fresh salah time. So by the entrance of a new salah time, his wudu will break automatically. So if he made a wudu for dhuhr and nothing happened between that time that nullifies the wudu, just the entry of asr will nullify that wudu. Yeah, because he's ma'zur. Okay, is that clear? There is a chapter on ma'zur actually. I remember very clearly there is a chapter on ma'zur because I studied this book when I was in the second year in depth. Not this actual, the Arabic one. See, this book here, Nur al-Idah, isn't the actual text of Nur al-Idah, it's the text with some commentary as well. The actual Nur al-Idah, the matan of Nur al-Idah is more brief than this. Okay. And then there is one commentary known as Maraq al-Falah, and then there is a third commentary known as Tahtawi, which is a commentary of the commentary. So Hashiyat al-Tahtawi ala Maraq al-Falah. That's what it's called. Flowing in relation to the front and rear orifice is the appearance at the head of the orifice. However, in relation to other than the two orifices, flowing impurity is the impurity crossing over to a point that needs to be washed. Okay? Even if washing is merely recommended. Therefore, blood that moves from one point in the eye to another does not nullify the ablution. However, blood that flows at the back of the nose does nullify the ablution. Okay? Because the nose is washed in salah, right? Whereas the eye is not. Inside the eye is not. Blood and pus nullify ablution. In addition, water that seeps from the breast, navel, or ear due to a medical ailment, according to the correct position, nullifies. Only if there is a medical ailment that causes that water to flow from the ears, it will nullify the wudu. Otherwise, not. Vomiting a mouthful of food or water. Vomiting water nullifies even if the water has not changed. Furthermore, if on vomiting a black burnt substance or a yellow substance is brought up, this too nullifies the ablution. You understand? So it doesn't matter even if the color of the water. If you just vomited water, it will break the wudu. Doesn't matter if the color changes or not. And obviously if the color changes, it will definitely nullify the wudu. With all the above mentioned, the ablution is nullified if a mouthful is vomited. How about if a person doesn't vomit a mouthful, but he vomits a small amount a few times? Then if all of them can be gathered and become a mouthful, then it will nullify the wudu. The ablution is nullified because these would have become impure as a result of coming in contact with that which is at the bottom of the stomach. This is the This is the opinion of the 10 promised paradise. In addition, the Prophet ﷺ vomited and then performed ablution. Tirmidhi states that this is the most authentic tradition in this section. Also, the Prophet ﷺ said, ablution is repeated from 7: urine drops, flowing blood, vomit, mouthful of vomit, sleeping on one side, loud laughter of a man in prayer, and emission of blood. The definition of a mouthful is the amount that the mouth cannot hold without difficulty. We all know what a mouthful is, according to the most correct explanation given. It is also said that it is the amount that prevents speech. If the vomit is, I don't think anyone can speak with the vomiting anyway, whether it's a small amount or a big amount. If the vomit is in spurts, the sum amount of all the spurts is considered the cause, if the cause is the same, according to Muhammad. Thus, if the total amount is a mouthful, it nullifies. Abu Yusuf regards the facts as the place being the same, if it's coming from the same place. Okay. The water from the mouth of a sleeping person is pure if it comes from the head by agreement. The same is the case with water rising from the stomach. Sleep, we're talking about the mouth, the water itself. We're not speaking about water being nullified.
The water from the mouth is basically a drool then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So saying that because it's clean, it doesn't make your pillowcase najis. That's what they're saying. Water that comes out of the mouth of a sleeping person, which is drool. Blood in the mouth that dominates or is equal to the saliva. So if a person has a gum bleed or something of that sort, then it would nullify the wudu if you spit and the blood is dominant over the saliva. This can be seen from, what can it be seen from? The color. Sleeping such that the rear is not firmly seated on the ground. If a person sleeps in the position where the rear is completely seated on the ground, firmly on the ground, it will not nullify the wudu. Why? Because there is no possibility of him passing stool in that situation, in that position. But if a person sleeps in a manner that allows his rear to be comfortable and loose, basically, where he is able to pass gas, then even whether he passes gas or not, sleeping in that position will nullify the wudu. Even if he's leaning against something and you remove that thing. If a person is sleeping against the ground, a person is sleeping with his rear on the ground firm, but he's leaning against a wall, and the wall was removed, he will fall, right? But even then his wudu won't break because his rear was firmly on the ground, wouldn't allow him to pass gas in that situation. In any other position, you're laying on your side, or you're laying on your front, or you're sleeping in a way where your rear is not firmly on the ground. Any other position in which the rear is not firmly on the ground, it will nullify the wudu, whether you pass gas or not during your sleep.
Is there a time limit?
No. So basically, if a person is just drowsy, okay, and he's just basically napping, small nap, but he's still aware of what's going on around him, that's not considered sleep. Sleep is when he loses his mind completely. He doesn't know he doesn't know what's going on around him.
Even if he's firmly on the ground. Like
yeah.
that.
Yes. Even if he's in a deep sleep, but he's sitting firmly on the ground, his wudu won't break. Because the basis is the rear being firmly on the ground or not. The basis isn't whether he's leaning on something or not. The common misunderstanding in people is that if he's leaning on something, wudu will break. If he's not leaning, wudu will not break. But that's not the basis. The basis is whether the rear is firmly on the ground or not. Yeah, what's your question?
So, this is when you're sitting. What if you're firmly on the ground, rear is firmly on the ground, but laying? Is that considered firm?
No, because you're still leaning. If you're leaning, it doesn't matter if you're leaning on something. It's all about the rear being firmly on the ground or not.
So if I fall asleep laying down flat, like this?
On your back.
No, that's not firmly on the ground though.
Okay.
Because the weight of your body isn't on your.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
What about your driving car is sitting in the car, sleeping?
You're gonna have a crash if you do that.
No. Somebody driving, I
Okay.
sit and sleeping.
Yeah.
On the passenger seat.
Yeah.
So do it okay.
If a person's
In the passenger seat,
Yeah.
sitting and sleeping.
Okay.
So he's okay.
Um,
It's hard.
It should be okay because I don't think without force, I don't think a person can pass stool in that situation without force because he's still firmly on the seat.
Good.
Okay, sleeping on the ground. Okay. It is. Should we end? Line 29. Right, number 7 is related to that, so let's mention that. Lifting of the rear of a sitting, sleeping person from the ground before waking up, even if the person does not fall on the ground. Okay, so just say a person was sitting with his rear firmly on the ground, but then a few seconds before he woke up, half a minute before he woke up, his rear came off the ground, then his wudu would be broken, even if he just woke up after 30 seconds. That's what it's saying here. 8, 9, and 10, becoming unconscious, insane, or intoxicated. For obvious reasons, because a person is not in their senses, so they don't know about their bodily actions. They can't control what's going on with their body. Number 11, loud laughing by a waking adult praying a prayer containing bowing and prostration, as mentioned earlier, right? If a child does it, if a child laughs loud in salah, his wudu will not break. But if an adult laughs loud in salah, it will nullify his prayer. Right. I was saying a complete prayer, a prayer that has ruku', sujood, qiyam, and everything. And number 12, sexual contact. Sexual contact doesn't mean a person touched their spouse with their hand, like the hand touching hand, okay, or hand rubbing, like the arm or something. That's not. By sexual contact, it means that genitals touch without any cloth in between. Because of the heat, it will nullify the wudu. Imam Muhammad bin Hassan Shaybani says, no, it won't nullify wudu unless there is madi that comes out, fluid that comes out. Not mani, because mani nullifies even ghusl. Madi, which is fluid that a person ejaculates due to excitement. Okay, so Imam Muhammad says only if madi comes out, then wudu will be nullified. Otherwise, it will not be. But Imam Hanifa rahimahullah says no, wudu will be nullified because it's very, very rare that a person's genitals touch his spouse's genitals and there is no madi extracted or coming out. It's just very rare because the excitement and the heat and so on and so forth. So he says sexual contact, without any ha'il, without any cloth, will nullify the wudu immediately. Right, we're going to end here, inshallah. Next week we'll do non-nullifying agents. So not next week, but the week after. Next week will be Aqidah again, inshallah. Hadith Jibreel. Next week will be Hadith Jibreel again, inshallah.
When is the socks discussion?
Sorry?
Socks discussion.
So, why you want to come just for that class?